Mel, the Bears have their feet to the fire, and it's not a mystery. Chicago's not going to hide from it. No one's going to hide from it. If they don't win this year, there's going to be organizational changes. It seems like the writing is on the wall. Is Andy Dalton enough? And if not, how do they get their quarterback in the draft? And if the answer is he is enough, do they have to take a player when they draft that is an immediate impact starter?
Well, what have we always said about Andy Dalton? He's a good quarterback. He needs a lot of help. When he was in Cincinnati, and he was winning games, getting them to the playoffs, he had a lot of guys around him. You look at the skill, talent, the line, he had a lot of components around him then. And that's the kind of quarterback he is. Look at Chicago's offense. We're talking about wide receiver issue, skill position talent around the quarterback, offensive line issue. So this is Andy Dalton again at age, 33 now, sure, not being a quarterback who can create and make everybody around him necessarily better. He needs guys around him to be really good. So I just wonder why Chicago, this goes back to, I think we've talked about this, why they didn't make a supreme aggressive effort to get Carson Wentz. I don't know. I mean, could you have the 20th pick and a third rounder? Could have gotten you Carson Wentz. They gave up a 2 that could become a 1, and he did, and a third rounder. So I would have given up the 20 and a 3 and a second for Carson Wentz. You're sitting here with Andy Dalton. You're at the 20th pick. You're not going to get a quarterback unless you move up. You still have all these needs. They haven't done anything in free agency yet. So I look at the Bears as a mystifying team to me as to why they didn't try to get Carson Wentz. And here we're sitting here, Sam Darnold, what's going to happen with him? Yeah. I got to believe there's some strong interest out there from another team in Sam if the Jets decide to trade him. But if I'm the Chicago Bears, you got Andy Dalton, you got Aaron Rodgers, you got Jared Goff in that division, and Kirk Cousins. You're the 4th best quarterback in the division, guys, and you can't have that. So again, the Chicago Bears, yeah, they made a move that they kind of salvaged things a little bit with Dalton. But right now, you're in the cellar trying to get out of it.
We may not have the bandwidth to get into it with a ton of detail and attention. The Bears really, though, were limited in terms of options, right? I mean, Deshaun Watson may eventually get traded, but Chicago doesn't have the best package available, and Deshaun may not want to go there. And Russell Wilson may have been open to going to Chicago, but you really got to make an offer that Seattle simply cannot refuse. And I'm not sure anybody right now, up until we get to the draft.
To your point, Field, part of the problem is you're picking at 20.
Yeah.
So there's no team that really is going to want to move. Like the Jets don't want to move down from 2 to 20. And right, how much would that take for you to go up there, and to make that pick? And then in free agency or in a trade situation, you don't have a quarterback to trade back that anyone really values. So that they're in a brutal situation. And I know everyone in Chicago is killing Ryan Pace and killing this whole organization. And I get it. I understand the frustration. But to your point, they are in a spot where it's almost impossible to get out of. And I think they saw the writing on the wall and said, well, let's bring in someone before the quarterback carousel stops. Let's bring in someone that can at least, bridge the gap, and we'll see what we can do from this point on.
That gets back to my question, Phil. Why not Wentz? I'm just saying, and that's a first guess, not a second guess. That was something that to me would have been obvious. And from what everybody said, they didn't even make an attempt. So they have a right to do what they want. But right now, they got a big problem. When I say in the cellar, I'm talking about at quarterback. They're in the cellar at quarterback in this division right now. That's the place you do not want to be.
My thought on Wentz would be that, it takes 2 to tango, and I'm not so sure that Carson Wentz was as amenable to going to Chicago as Chicago may or may not have been to acquiring him. Wentz seemed to have his eyes locked in on Indianapolis, and as we know, that deal eventually did get done.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.